I bet you didn't know that Hitler was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1939. The air crackled with an eerie intensity, a foreboding signal of what was to come. A low hum vibrated through my teeth, a sensation that felt both alien and familiar, as if the very fabric of time was resonating within me. It was the sound of time bending, of reality splitting at the seams, a surreal symphony that defied the natural order. My stomach churned, a primal fear gripping me, as if my body instinctively knew the gravity of the moment. I was stepping into the maw of history, into 1940s Germany, a world at war where every corner held a story of struggle and survival. The world dissolved around me, replaced by a haze of grey and brown, colours that spoke of despair and destruction. The air hung heavy, thick with the stench of coal smoke and fear, a palpable reminder of the chaos that reigned. Buildings once familiar were reduced to rubble, their skeletal remains standing as silent witnesses to the devastation. Soldiers patrolled the streets, their faces grim, eyes hardened by war, each step a testament to the relentless march of conflict. This was the Third Reich, a regime that cast a long, dark shadow over the world. I felt a chill run down my spine, a visceral reaction to the oppressive atmosphere that surrounded me. This wasn't a history book or a documentary. This was real. This was happening, and I was a part of it, an unwilling participant in a nightmare. And I was about to come face to face with the man who orchestrated it all, the architect of this dark chapter in human history. The meeting was arranged with the help of contacts, whispers in the dark corners of time. A safe house, they said, a chance encounter. I found myself in a dimly lit room, the air thick with anticipation. Every tick of the clock felt like a hammer blow. The door creaked open. Two men in SS uniforms entered, their faces etched with suspicion. They looked me up and down, their eyes cold and calculating. Behind them, a figure emerged from the shadows, shorter than I expected, yet radiating an aura of power. His eyes, a piercing blue, met mine. A shiver ran down my spine. This was him, Adolf Hitler, the man who had plunged the world into chaos. He spoke, his voice surprisingly soft yet laced with steel. It was a voice that commanded attention, a voice that could both soothe and terrify in equal measure. He questioned my presence, his German, thick with an Austrian accent. Each word was precise, calculated, as if he were dissecting my very soul with his speech. My carefully crafted cover story seemed to hold for now. I could feel the weight of his scrutiny, the pressure mounting with every passing second. But his eyes, those unsettling blue eyes, never left mine. They were like icy daggers, piercing through the facade I had so meticulously constructed. They seemed to see right through me, as if he could sense the fear and doubt lurking beneath my calm exterior. He spoke of his vision for Germany, for the world. His words painted a picture of a future that was both grand and terrifying, a world reshaped in his image. His words dripped with a venomous ideology, a chilling blend of nationalism and hatred. It was a vision that promised glory for some and doom for many. I had to remind myself to breathe, to keep up the facade. Each breath was a struggle, a battle to maintain my composure in the face of such overwhelming presence. To react was to risk everything. One wrong move, one slip of the mask, and it would all be over. But beneath the facade, I saw glimpses of the man. There were moments when the mask slipped, revealing the vulnerability and insecurity that lay beneath. The charisma that had captivated a nation. It was a dangerous charm, one that had the power to sway the masses and bend them to his will. The frustration of a failed artist. His early dreams of artistic glory had been crushed, leaving a void that he sought to fill with power and control. The dangerous delusions of grandeur. He saw himself as a savior, a messiah destined to lead his people to greatness no matter the cost. He was a monster, yes, but a human monster nonetheless. A man whose flaws and failures had twisted him into something truly terrifying. 1,000 questions burned on my tongue. Questions about his childhood, his motivations, his justifications for the horrors he had unleashed. Did he feel remorse? Did he see the devastation he had wrought? But I held my tongue. To speak was to risk unraveling the delicate fabric of time. To reveal my true purpose was to court disaster. I was an observer, a ghost in the machinery of history. The encounter stretched on, every second an eternity. Finally, as abruptly as he had arrived, he departed. The room seemed to exhale. I was left reeling, the weight of history pressing down on me. Section 5. Echoes of History. This is a journey through time, a reflection on the past that continues to echo in the present. I had looked into the eyes of evil. Those eyes, cold and calculating, held a darkness that seemed to pierce through the very fabric of humanity. I had felt the pull of his twisted charisma. It was a force that drew people in, a magnetic presence that manipulated and controlled, and I had done nothing. Paralyzed by fear, by uncertainty, I stood there, a silent witness to the unfolding horror. The knowledge of the atrocities he would commit weighed heavily on my soul. Each image, each memory, a haunting reminder of the pain and suffering inflicted upon countless innocents. But could I have done anything? The question lingered, a constant torment. Could one person alter the course of history, or was I merely a spectator in a predetermined play? Was it my place to interfere with the course of history? The weight of that decision, the potential consequences, were overwhelming. The moral dilemma gnawed at me. It was a relentless, unyielding force that consumed my thoughts, my very being. The burden of knowledge, of hindsight, was a heavy one to bear. Each page of history, each fact, a testament to the weight of human actions and inactions. The journey back was a blur. Time seemed to fold in on itself, the past and present merging into a single, indistinguishable moment. The hum of the chronometer, once a terrifying novelty, was now a mournful dirge, each tick a reminder of the inexorable march of time. I was back where I belonged, yet I was forever changed. The past had left its mark, an indelible imprint on my soul. I had stared into the abyss of history, and the abyss had stared back. The echoes of the past would forever resonate within me, a constant reminder of the fragility of humanity. Section 6. A Sliver of Doubt. The world seemed different now, brighter yet somehow more fragile. The horrors of the past, once confined to history books, now felt terrifyingly real. The laughter of children, the warmth of the sun on my skin, all felt precious, fleeting. Had I done the right thing? The question haunted me. Could I have stopped him, planted a seed of doubt? Or would any interference have led to an even darker timeline? The past, I realized, was not a fixed point. It was a churning sea of possibilities, and I, a solitary traveler, had been granted a glimpse beneath the surface. Section 7. The Unknowable Path. The experience left me with more questions than answers. Had I been a passive observer or an active participant in the grand tapestry of time? Was it possible to change the past without unraveling the present? I found myself drawn to history books, poring over accounts of Hitler's life, searching for clues, for alternate paths not taken. But the past was a locked door, its secrets closely guarded, and yet a sliver of hope remained. Perhaps the act of witnessing, of remembering, was a form of resistance in itself, a way to ensure that the horrors of the past were never forgotten, never repeated. Section 8. Ghosts of Decisions Past. The world moved on. The scars of war, though faded, remained etched in the collective memory. I watched as generations rose, unaware of the horrors that had come before, but I remembered. I carried the weight of that encounter, the burden of those unspoken words. It was a reminder of the fragility of peace, the ever-present potential for darkness to resurface. And I wondered, what if I had made a different choice? What if I had spoken, had acted? Would it have mattered? The answer, lost to the swirling currents of time, continued to elude me. Section 9. Ripple Effect. I realized that time travel was not about changing the past. It was about understanding it, about learning from the mistakes of those who came before, about recognizing the warning signs and fighting against the tides of hatred and intolerance. For the ripples of the past extended far beyond the confines of history. They shaped our present and held the potential to shape our future. It was up to us, the inheritors of this legacy, to choose a different path, to learn from the ghosts of decisions past, and build a future where the darkness that had consumed a generation would never rise again. Section 10. Time's unforgiving grip. Time, I learned, was not a river flowing in one direction. It was an ocean, vast and unknowable, its depths concealing countless stories, countless possibilities. And I, a solitary voyager, had been granted a glimpse into its heart. But the ocean, like time, was unforgiving. It swallowed everything whole, leaving behind only echoes and whispers. The past could not be changed, but it could be learned from. And so I carried the weight of that encounter, the burden of those unspoken words. A reminder that the choices we made, however small, reverberated through time. A reminder to never forget the lessons of the past, lest we be doomed to repeat them.